Welcome, this is Amanda, and today we're going to do a 2-page scrapbook layout. Hi, this is Amanda with Crafting with Amanda. Small business or artists need your help. You can help by subscribing to their channel, liking their videos, or leaving a comment. These actions help their videos reach more viewers. You can practice doing that right now. Thank you. So nothing like just diving into a project. If you've been following me at all, you know that we are in the midst of a crazy construction zone nightmare, and I do not have access to much of my crafting supplies. I have one large box of stamps, most of which are retired or actually coming out of the new book. And I found one packet of photos with maybe 50 photos in them that I can do some scrapbooking. So this is the second layout that I've done in over a year and a half with photos and journaling and knowing the dates, and so I'm really rusty. So to show that I'm rusty, I'm starting with embellishments. So I grabbed this stamp set and I wanted an arrow just so I could put a sentiment on it, and the first arrow that I got didn't have enough supports on the side because I'm not stamping the arrow as it's intended. I'm actually using the back of the stamp to just get the shape of an arrow. I needed something a little thicker, and I like stamping sometimes versus using the Cricut for just one small element. So that's what I did. Once I had it all stamped on here, and I lost my chamois, my little chamois stamp cleaner, but the You Are Happy set is just this cute set, and it has this saying that I love, and it says, "Your laughter makes my heart smile." And these photos are when I took the kids to the circus. It happened to be Mother's Day, and that happened actually pretty regularly. The circus came to town on Mother's Day, and one year it was the Shrine Circus, and the next year it was Barnum and Bailey. So I think this particular year it was Barnum and Bailey. So I'm stamping on that top one just to make sure that it's gonna line up and fit correctly, and then I use my finger to show, okay, this is where I want it to land, and then I keep moving it up in my Misty stamp pad. And I'm really grateful that I have the Misty in my stuff to use, because later in this video you'll see that I have a long title and I don't have a stamp block that's big enough to really deal with it, so I had to get creative, and I got lucky. So this is what's going on here in my stamps. These are go with a Cricut cut, and it's just a little notebook. It looks like a torn sheet of notebook paper that you would, as a high school student, you tear out of a spiral bound notebook, and I absolutely love this for journaling. I use it quite often. So when I would cut a sheet of the notebook pages from the Cricut, I just did a whole sheet at once and put all the extras in with the stamp. So grabbed that, and now I'm using the Chelsea Garden card making stamp, again from a long time ago. Chelsea Garden's one of my favorite papers, and I'm stamping these butterflies on my daughter's face. We did face painting that year. We didn't do that every time we went to the circus, but we did face painting, and she chose a butterfly, and it was gorgeous with these bright colors, and I'm partial to butterflies anyhow. So, and again, I don't know why I'm starting with my embellishments to do a scrapbook page, but I am. I think with the house construction going on, playing with embellishments and coloring is kind of a happy place. So I was probably starting with my happy place and that's what's going on here. But I realized that I could have put these in a different order, and you would have never known that I started with the embellishments, but I did. I make up a marker chart so that I can see with the tri-blend markers the 3 shades that you can get from each marker, and then I can use those to coordinate better with, in this case, the butterfly on my daughter's face. And it's just really easy, very forgiving coloring. I'm kind of trying to mimic the rainbow that's there, or the bright colors that's there. So I started with the yellow green in the center because that's like the brightest color, and yellow tends to easily get lost, or it can get overshadowed. So I wanted to make sure that there was a good base of that. And I did post what marker colors I used, and there's a link in the description to the markers, and you can see all 48 tri-blend colors that we have to offer if you want. I think I have a dozen of them, and I just absolutely love them. So I was using the light shade of the pink, and then I ended up going back and blending between the yellow and the pink. So I really like how that turned out. I don't have an orange marker, so that color's missing. And now I'm using the shimmer brush, and this is just the iridescent shimmer brush that I absolutely love. The shimmer brushes are just fantastic. I've actually started recently coloring just with those. And the shimmer went on the body, and I wanted to keep it a little more not a shimmered body. And here I outlined the word laughter, and I've done this before and haven't had a problem, but I think because I stamped up, there was so much ink in the yellow part of that arrow that when I stamped the black on it, I hadn't fully let it dry. Next time I'll use a heat gun and make sure that the ink is dry for both of those layers, because the shimmer brush kind of activated the ink again, and it gave it like it spread out a little. It's nothing horrible. Here I'm cutting out Happy Mother's Day. And why, you may ask? Because the circus showed up on Mother's Day, and it became a tradition that we would go to the circus on Mother's Day and spend the afternoon and just make it fun. Many years my husband was out of town. He traveled quite a bit, and so that's one of the reasons why we're in California, so we can all be together. So it was kind of just a fun, take the kids to the circus for Mother's Day. I used the magic book to kind of have an inspiration layout, and I don't know if you noticed, but the inside spiral of my book came out from the hard binding, and I just took the two sides apart. Now, this is the Celebrate Today paper pack. Again, it's from a while ago. It was just in my stash, something that managed to make it into the house versus being stacked in the middle of our storage. So I cut all the pieces, and now I do dry fitting before I glue anything down, just to make sure that it's what I want and it works for the photos, and that I tend to have less embellishment opportunities when I dry fit. So, and I ended up cutting that little sliver that's off to the left of like the polka dot, it's not polka dot, but kind of Baroque-ish paper, and I end up replacing that later with one of the zip strips, the heart one, that just works really well with kind of the rainbow theme that's going on in the background with my photos. In my magic book, they have one big piece that went from top to bottom, and I like to save my paper, conserve my paper, so I cut the two for the top and one for the top and one for the bottom. And now I'm not going to make you watch me ink all the edges of all the papers, but what I ended up doing was swapping out that short piece for the hearts, and then I'll use the little piece of the heart over one of a photo or under a photo, or it gets so that I have that on both pages. Just there's little things that I are more comfortable with, and that puts us at ease, and having balance and having symmetry and having triangles and odd numbers are some of those magic things. Now here's a special, I'm making a hinge on the top photo of my son so that you flip it up and you can see the other photo of him underneath. It's not a great photo of him, he's not too excited at this point. I don't remember what happened, but I want it to be there. So what you do is you cut out a piece of paper that's a 1/2 inch at least, up to 2 inches, however long you want it, longer than the photo mat, and attach it to the back, and then just fold it, and you can tuck it right in under the base folder, or base photo, excuse me. And what happened here was I thought I was doing it from the top, but when I glued my paper on with the extra piece hanging off, it actually ended up being a bottom hinge, which turned out to be very serendipitous because I liked it better. I'll have my youngest with the photo folds down, and then my butterfly face girl over here, it'll fold up. And again, that kind of just gives some balance to the scrapbook layout. And maybe sometime down the road here, I will do a video of different ways that you can incorporate these interactive flaps, or hinged photos for that matter, in your scrapbooks. There's one way that involves cutting the scrapbook layout. There's a way that does not involve cutting a scrapbook layout. I actually cut slits in my page protectors because that's what works for me. It just keeps the book more together, but that's just me. So I continue to put down these matted photos. I matted everything in black, and then I double matted the two bigger pictures, close-ups of the kids. And now I'm just auditioning where some embellishments will go. We are a Winnie the Pooh family, and I ended up not using the Tigger in this particular layout, but it will get used in a different one. It was just too cartoony for what we were going for. And I don't know why I have a blank or a clear journaling thing, because I've already colored it in. So I must have had two on my desk, and I just lost the one that I colored in temporarily, because I know when I took the photos of the completed layouts today, it was colored in. So I'll be interested to see when that shows up here again. Now this is an old Seaside workshop from a scrapbook layout workshop, and you can see my block there is not long enough for the title. I kind of told you that was going to happen, but I put my foam underneath, and I did it the longest way down the block that I could do, and I'm using my fingers to make sure there's ink on it. And this is, you kind of have to have some practice at this to not push too hard to smush the stamp so that it gets out of shape, versus making sure that the ink gets onto the paper. And you know, it's a little crooked, but it's a distress stamp, and I think it works just fine. So, and there's more of those cards, like I said, I cut out ahead of time. Now I'm going to end up stamping a sentiment on the star, and oh, I see what happens. I'm going to color all these embellishments now, and watch. That journaling piece will end up colored. I'm just ahead of myself. We've had a few distractions between electricians and project managers and bathroom people working, and so I apologize for my scatteredness. And there's a difference when you use the ink blending tool between swiping it and actually pouncing it. You get two distinct looks. I'm not sure I can describe the difference, but if you have one of the Tim Holtz ink blending tools, whether it's the mini round one or the rectangle, try pouncing versus swiping, and you'll see what I mean as far as the different looks. For the stars, I'm pouncing because I like that look better. For the journaling spot and the star and the Happy Mother's Day, I'm doing more of a swiping technique. And I'm not that concerned with making it be a smooth transition blend. That's, to me, that's not the effect I'm going for here. I don't want to say messy or distressed, because it's not that. It's just the feel of the circus isn't as smooth and I don't know, posh as sometimes you can do with the blending tools. So this here is also from that Seaside workshop, and I think it says something like my kind of day or my favorite day. Oh, my kind of day. And it was my kind of day. The kids are varied in ages. There's almost 8 years between them, so sometimes it's hard finding something that they both enjoy, but I think a circus can be enjoyed by anybody of all ages, so at least I can. Maybe others don't, but for me, I can always enjoy a circus. Now here I'm just embellishing the back side of the hinged photo mat, and I have this punched with this leaf pattern on it, and it doesn't have a home right now. It doesn't fit into the storage that I currently have in my temporary setup, so it just ends up being in my way 8 times out of 10. And so I use that with some flowers to just decorate the inside. And then stars, who doesn't, you know, there's stars at the circus, and the bright colors with the flowers. I just kind of thought that tied it all in. So this jewel picker has been a game changer for me. I absolutely love it. You put your dots of glue down, and then you just pick up the next, these are like the sequence glitter stars from Close to My Heart, and you just put them on. So I love that. I had taken off those 2 banners like in yellow and turquoise that I wish I had added to the layout somewhere along the top. I'm not sure where now, but I don't know where those ended up. That, looking at it now, I think that would have really added to the layout. But not bad for my second full layout in over 1.5 or 2 years really. So I'm just getting my my feet back under me again. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day.